Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So in today's video, we'll be talking about what Montez Sweat said about playing his former team this weekend, and also be giving you guys some big injury updates and just previewing the game a little bit. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. It really does help out the channel. All those things, it's free. It takes 1 second. Join the channel membership if you want, and then go ahead and comment down below your score prediction for this Commanders game against the Chicago Bears. It's a huge game. The Commanders don't know who their starting quarterback is. At least, it hasn't been announced yet. And I don't think they know. And, they're going to know until probably a few hours before the game, or maybe tonight we'll figure it out. But it's still, TBD, still, to be determined. And let's talk about the Montez Sweat stuff first. Then we'll talk about injury updates, and then we'll talk about just preview a little bit the game. 4:25 kickoff at Washington. So 5-2 versus 4-2. It's a good matchup in my opinion. And yeah, so the Montez Sweat thing, nothing major in my opinion, but I just did want to talk about it. So he said, "I'm happy being somewhere that I'm wanted." He talked about in a more extensive clip. I'm not going to show it because I'm away from where I'm usually recording, so I'm just doing it off my phone, so not on my computer and stuff. But he basically said he's happy being somewhere he's wanted. He got his contract here not here, but got his contract in Chicago, made his first Pro Bowl, so had a lot of success there. And honestly, that makes sense. The Commanders didn't pay him, and that's fine. Honestly, it's worked out really well for both sides. It's worked out well for both sides. The Commanders got a second-round pick out of that deal, a pretty good second-round pick, traded out of it, got some other players. And the Bears got Montez Sweat, who's had a really good second half of the year last year. Honestly, had a good first half of the year too with Washington, and then also has had an okay season so far. But also, if you look at Washington, not only did they get those picks, but the replacements for Montez Sweat and Chase Young, Dorrance Armstrong, and Dante Fowler have played really well. Dante Fowler has 4.5 sacks, and that's more than Chase Young and Montez Sweat combined. So that's huge. And Dorrance Armstrong has been good. He has, I believe, like 3-ish sacks. Let me pull it up. I know he's missed a game. You also look at Clelin Ferrell, who has had a good season. So, yeah, Dorrance Armstrong has 3 sacks. I believe Clelin Ferrell has 2 sacks. He had 2 sacks in the first 2 games. Has had some injuries, so he has missed a few games. So he's played 4 games, has 2 sacks. So the guys, that's 5 sacks plus 4.5. That's 9.5 sacks from their edge rushers through less than the first half of the season. So that is pretty good if you ask me, and that's better than what they were getting last year. And they've also been solid overall. He also has an interception. Dante Fowler returned that for a touchdown, as you guys saw last week. And yeah, that's been good for the Commanders, and I'm happy it's worked out for us and for the Bears as well. I like Montez Sweat. There was not much drama with him here in Washington. He went through some personal battles, but in terms of how he was with Washington, he was a good player. He wasn't elite with us, but he was a pretty good player every year. And he was, a late first-round pick. So, yeah, maybe you're expecting a little bit more, and you saw the talent in him. You saw the potential. But it wasn't like he was a huge, huge disappointment in Washington versus maybe, a guy like Chase Young, where he just, he had a really good rookie year, but then after that didn't pan out. But, Montez Sweat, I'm rooting for him every, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, except for this Sunday against the Commanders or whenever they're going to play him in the future as well. But that's kind of the Montez Sweat stuff. Again, I don't think his comments were that, crazy. Some people thought they were, I saw. They're like, oh, why is he bringing up Washington? They asked him. So I don't think it's a big deal. In terms of injury updates, Jaden Daniels, questionable. Dorrance Armstrong, questionable. Brandon Coleman, out. So those are the injury designations for the Commanders. You also have Tyler Owens, who's been out for a few weeks. I believe he's going to be back because they don't have him, or at least Nicky Jabala doesn't have him listed here as a injury. And the Bears actually have some pretty big injuries, guys that are going to be out, which could benefit the Washington Commanders. Obviously, out of any of the guys, Jaden Daniels would be the biggest impact out of anyone. But they have some big impact players that they're going to be missing on their defense. And I guess I'll get into that right now. Kyler Gordon, cornerback, I believe it's his second or third season out of Washington, if I'm not mistaken. And then Jaquan Brisker, who is a stud. This is his third season. They're both out. So two starting DBs are out. That is big. That is big for the Washington Commanders. Obviously not, wishing injuries on anyone, but they're out. So that's, positive news for the Commanders that those guys are out and gives them a little bit better of a chance of winning. But, you like to see both teams at full strength. And right now, if the Commanders don't have Jaden, obviously they're nowhere near full strength. But I think the offense can still produce with Marcus Mariota. We saw what they did. It was against the Panthers, but we still saw what they did against the Carolina Panthers. And this could be a huge game for them to develop their confidence and, maybe show people, whether it's, some of their own teammates or other teams or, fans or whatever, media, that, okay, Jaden's good. We love Jaden, but we can win without him. We can win a game for him when he's out dealing with an injury. So it's not just Jaden. And that's true. Like, this team, like, Jaden's been good, and he's been the main reason for this turnaround, in terms of the player side, because, Adam Peters has done a good job, Dan Quinn as well. Though, he's been the main reasons, but a bunch of other guys have played really well, like Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, what's his name? Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin, Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, Nick Allegretti. A lot of guys have contributed to this turnaround. And guys that were here last year that have played well, Brian Robinson, Terry, Sam Cosmi. Like, it's not just Jaden Daniels. So it could be an opportunity for them to prove themselves against the Chicago Bears. It is going to be a tough game. The Bears are a solid team. Like Washington, their schedule's been a little bit light. They haven't, beat, maybe soft. They haven't beat a lot of good teams. You look at the Bears. I'll pull up the Bears' schedule right now. They beat the they beat the Jaguars. That was I believe that was their last game. They just came off a bye, so that is an advantage for them. They do have a little bit of rest. Maybe that won't be good for maybe Caleb, how he reacts after a week off. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. I really don't know historically how rookies are coming off byes, if they're better or worse than usual or about the same. But you look at their wins. They beat the Titans. They lost the Texans barely. They lost the Colts barely. They beat the Rams by one score. They beat the Panthers by a lot. And then they beat the Jaguars by a lot. So similar to us, I think we have some more quality ones than they do because, again, we did demolish the Panthers more than they did. We did demolish the Cardinals. We did demolish the Browns. And we beat the Bengals, who, their record wasn't great when we played them, but I think they're a team that's turning around. So I do think the Commanders are a better team than the Bears. Is it by much? Maybe not. But I think the Commanders are better. And if Jaden Daniels is playing, I think they'll win. If he isn't, honestly, I still think they're going to win. It's at home. And Marcus Mariota had a solid game last week. They just need this team to run the ball pretty well. They don't need Marcus Mariota to do a lot. Just don't make these big mistakes. Run the offense that he's been doing. And I'm wondering, Cliff worked with Caleb last year. I'm wondering if that can help out the defense at all, if he can give some tips to Joe Witt on how to play Caleb Williams. I don't know. Maybe, again, I'm reading into it a little bit too much, but that's something that could be interesting. And maybe, Cliff throws some things to Joe Witt about Caleb and his game, his strengths and weaknesses, and how to best defend him. Because you work with a guy closely, you got to know his strengths, you got to know his weaknesses. So I think that's something that they'll be able to do. And I think it'll be a good game. I'm hoping it is. It's at home. And let's hopefully the Commanders get this dub. If they get this dub, they're in a really good position. I'm going to go ahead and pull up I guess I have the schedule right here. They play the Bears this week. Then you go to you go to MetLife. play the New York Giants, and then you play the Steelers and Eagles, and then the Cowboys. So it is not an easy stretch, but you got winnable games right here with the Bears, Giants, and then Steelers. Like, if you can, like, just win 2 out of those 4 at least. It's not like it's easy games against the, at Philly, and then you're home against the Steelers. Probably should win that game, but still not a bad team. And Russell Wilson, maybe he's going to be even better than Fields was. I don't know. But that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Also, if you stay till the end, go ahead and comment down below Marcus Mariota. We're going to need the best out of him this week if he does play. Peace, guys.